How is it? My name is Sanga Shadrach from Edukea Company. For today, we are going to start the subject which is Geograph, but for the topic which we call as weather. So we are going to start these kinds of the topic which is specified for those who are Form 1 and also for those who are going to attempt the Form 4 exams. It is mostly applicable what kinds of the topic. By starting, we are going to start what is weather. We have to understand what is weather. So when we talk about weather, I'm going to make it is clear to relate with the things called as a element, we call it a climate. So there is difference between weather and climate because most of the people, they are contradicting about those two things. So by starting the definition of weather, weather is the climatic conditions of the certain atmosphere which recorded for a short period of time. So it is the climatic condition of the atmosphere which recorded for a short period of time. So this means what? So this is the climatic condition for an area day to day or hour to hour. Maybe an atmospheric condition of an area which occurred at the certain time for a short period of time, maybe from a certain hour to a certain hour. So these kinds of the conditions that you call result as weather. So maybe it is day to day. Maybe the condition for an area of Monday, maybe Tuesday it changed. Maybe Monday there was maybe high rainfall, and also as Tuesday there is maybe high sunnier. So that is all. That is called resulting things called as weather. So weather recorded for a short period of time. That is the difference to climate. So when we talk about climate is the climatic conditions of a certain atmosphere or the atmospheric condition which is recorded for a long period of time. An example, the climate of an area, it can be determined. So we can determine that a certain area, it is maybe a certain climate by looking out its element for a long period of time. An example, we can determine maybe an area it is equatorial or it is tropical or it is maybe desert, not for maybe a day or a month. It almost more than 30 years. So we can identify what things called as a climate. So we understand that weather it is for a short period of time, but climate it is for a long period of time. And when we talk about weather, there is a science which dealing with with weather. Example, talk about the things called as a meteorologist. Meteorologist is a person. Meteorology is a science which deals with weather, or science which dealing with the recording the climate which for a short period of time, which recorded for a short period of time. That is what meteorology. But when we come to another, it is climatology. Climatology deals with climate, science which deals with the climate. So but those two things are similar in terms of of relation, because one types of that situation, it depends to another situation. Example, the data recorded at the weather station, it helps us to identify the climate of the certain area. So those things are depending from each other, but are differ. Okay, let's come to the importance of of weather. So there is importance of weather. So those weather climatic condition for a short period of time, maybe high temperature or high rainfall, maybe for 3 days or 1 day. So what are the importance? It determine it determine the kind of clothing to be worn by the people in an area. So this weather, it helps to identify which kinds of the clothes we have to wear at the given area. An example, maybe people who live maybe in Dar es Salaam, there it is hot so you can't wear maybe heavy clothes. So why the people wear the light or simple clothes? Because of the what? Of the climate of the given area. Even also Dar es Salaam, sometimes it is what? It is cold. So the people, they change their clothes. They wear this what? Somehow heavy what? Clothes. So the weather, it helps us to identify which kinds of the clothes we can wear at the given what? Area. Maybe take an example, the people who live at Njombe. Maybe you can see the people live at Njombe wear maybe a light clothes or simple clothes. They wear heavy clothes because of the of the cold. So also sometimes at Njombe there, the people wear what? Simple clothes because the weather is changing. As I told you that day to day climatic conditions. So there are sometimes the weather is cold, maybe sometimes what? Is hot. So this one helps to identify the clothing to be worn by the people in the given area. That is. So also weather knowledge help people to carry out economic activities. So weather knowledge, so the knowledge you get through weather, or the knowledge you get in weather, it helps us to conduct maybe different economic activities like agriculture, like tourism, and other, or transportation. Weather knowledge, an example, in the weather knowledge you get that maybe in a certain area there is high rainfall. So when it is high rainfall, it means that that area agriculture we can conduct, or that area we can do a certain kind of activities. So weather knowledge, it helps us to develop or to conduct the different activities like agriculture and other activities. Also it helps to know climate of an area. So I told you that weather data, it helps us to understand climate of the area. So the data about weather that recorded for a long period of time, maybe more than 3 years, or maybe more than 4 years, up to 30 years. So those data collected, day-to-day data of weather collected, maybe up to reach 30 years, those data help us to identify or to note that that is a certain climate. So the data of weather after 30 years, it can help us to identify whether the area is tropical or the area is what? Is desert. So that is all about what? It helps to know the climate of the area. So that is about what? Weather. And those data we obtain at the what? Weather station. Then it improves the people's life. So the weather, if the area it have good climatic condition, the people live in a good manner, and the people survive for a long period of time. That is in which sense is that if the area there is bad climate, it means that there is maybe disease. So the people, it is impossible to survive in that area. Instead, they maybe they can die. So that is why we say that weather, if it is good, it supports the living of the life of the people, living standard of the people. The last point is it promotes the tourism activities development. So also weather, it can promote tourism. On which sense? If there is good climatic condition, there is good weather condition of a given time, it means that the people can encroach or can come to the given area in order to for leisure maybe or study. Specifically we talk about tourism. An example, there is a time when there is a good, very attractive climate in Tanzania. The people move from their home countries and they come in Tanzania in order to see different different attracts of tourists. But the time when there is bad climate or there is bad weather condition or day-to-day condition, there is somewhat announcement that our government made to the people that these times it is not good maybe to go at to climb the Kilimanjaro mountain. So that is because of what? Of the weather. So weather, if it is good, it attracts or it promotes the tourism activities of the given the given area. So that is about the importance of weather of the given area. So let's come to things called as the element of weather. So when we talk about element, this means what? Element, it means the smallest things which made the things called as what? Weather. Smallest things which made what? weather, or which made that atmospheric condition. So when we say that the condition of an area is bad, so what things we looked out in order to identify the area climate is what is bad? We say that the weather of the certain area is good. So what are the things we consider when we say that the area is what climate, the weather of the area is what is good? So there are things which made, or there are things which it founds within what weather. There are several elements, or other books when we read, they directly say that you are having only seven elements, but there is many, there is different types, there is different element of weather. An example, we are having temperature. Temperature is the things which we consider when we clarify weather of one area. An example, temperature, the high temperature and the low temperature. It helps us to identify if the area is having good weather or it is it having bad weather. And the temperature here we consider that the degree of hotness and coldness of an area, that is called temperature. Then rainfall. Rainfall also talk about the water droplets which are falling from the atmosphere. Water droplets which are falling from atmosphere. This is called rainfall. So that is also can help us to identify weather of a given of the given area. Also humidity. This is called the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. Amount of the water vapor in atmosphere. This is being brought there due to the evaporation. Evaporation, this means that it depends to the sunrising time. Sunrising times, it causes the vapor to be blown, to be emitted to the atmosphere. At the time it will be collected there, and they form things you call as a humidity. So that is about this humidity. There is cloudy cover. Cloudy cover is what? Cloudy cover talk about those clouds which are found in the atmosphere, and this if there is cloudy cover, sometimes we see that there is no sunshine. But if there is no cloudy cover, the sky is bright, so this means that there will be there is sunshine. So that's about cloudy cover. There is wind. Winds, this is the air in motion. Air in motion from maybe one point to another, and that winds, sometimes there is different types of winds. There is sea breeze winds, monsoon winds. We are having many types of winds, but here we consider those winds air in motion, the air which are moving from one point to another point. So that is talk about wind. Then is sunshine. Sunshine, this is called as the sun rays. As I told you that sunshine, it depends to the cloudy cover. So if there is cloudy cover, the sun rays is being low, or it is amount or quantity is being low compared to the time where there is bright sky. It means that there is no cloudy cover. The sunshine is being at large quantity. So that is about sunshine, called as the sun rays. Also there is atmospheric pressure. So atmospheric pressure, this is called the gravitational pull of the atmosphere. That is called atmospheric pressure. So, and that atmosphere it is only pressure, which help us to ensure that the atmosphere is stays at the same point all the time. So that is about those called as elements. So I explain in retro, not in deep, because we are going to study one after another in deep to study about those ones. So for today we start with the things called as temperature. But before studying this, let's check about the weather station. So what is the weather station? We go direct to weather station because this all element of weather we can found this element of weather. It is instrument to measure it. it found at what? Weather station. And what are the things which are mostly needed in order to identify the weather of the given area? It is what? Things we call as the weather station. So weather station, I can say, is the area or place whereby different instruments of measuring the weather condition of an area it can found. So that is about what? Weather station. As here is a place where the element of weather are measured and recorded. So that is, so the place whereby those all this all element of weather is measured. This you call as what? The place where this element of weather are measured and recorded, it is data. The area, this area we call as a weather station. So where could we get the data in order to identify that types of an area, or that is it is the time it is hot, the time it is what? Maybe high rainfall. That day it was what? More sunnier. So we look out, we go to the weather station, and we get the certain data. And those all data at the weather station, it helps us to identify what? To identify the climate of the certain what? Of the certain area. So that is, and each element have it is what? Importance. So each element of weather is having what? Importance. Example here maybe temperature. Temperature is having importance. Maybe I can say that what are the importance of temperature? Temperature, first, it helps in the decompositions of the different material on the what? On the Earth's surface. And those decomposed material help the plant growth. And the plant growth helps human being to survive, as you have to understand that plants expose oxygen, which is most important to the human life. So the temperature, it is important. And also temperature helps to the rainfall formation. Without temperature, there is no rainfall, because in order the rainfall to be formed, it depends to evaporation. And evaporation, it is impossible to take place if there is no water, there is no temperature, or sun rays, which you call as a temperature. So that is all about what? The importance. So each element of weather, it is having what? Importance to human life. So let's go direct to the temperature. The first element of what? Of weather. Temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of a body, which is measured by what? By thermometer. So the degree of hotness of an object or coldness of an object, that is what? Temperature. Called as a temperature. So anything to have coldness or anything to have hotness, that is we call it the temperature. The temperature we can say is high, or the temperature is what? Is low. And this temperature to be high or low is being expressed by what? Centigrade or Fahrenheit. Centigrade or what? Fahrenheit. Example is like this one, maybe that centigrade. This one is the centigrade, or maybe 7 Fahrenheit. This one the way. So this